I'm going to show you the unironically positive effects that political correctness has on discourse in the West. But before I do so, you need to understand what political correctness is. It is not an objective term. It is a politically loaded term coined by the Soviet Union during the signing of the Declaration of the Human Rights. I already made a video about it. If you guys want to see the history of this, feel free to watch. But it's basically authoritarian countries trying to lecture democratic countries on how to do human rights properly. Now, the thing with political correctness is that if you're a basic bitch Republican and you believe in border control, you believe in deporting illegal people, you believe in paying less welfare so that you don't have to pay as much taxes, if you're a pro-lifer, if you're a dedicated Christian like the owner of Chick-fil-A, then clearly you are a bigot. You are a problem or a stain on society, and political correctness is directed to the platform, censor, or try to get you fired. So you can see that if you're a person that talks about, like Karl Marx did, about abolishing the middle class as a group, you talk about giving it to the 1% in a violent, bloody revolution, none of these things would be politically incorrect. However, if you suggest that maybe Trump should build a wall, that is very problematic, and if you wear a MAGA hat, then that's like a KKK hood nowadays. But what does political correctness actually do? Well, it actually roots out the crazies. It actually is like a group of wolves that are attacking the gazelles, which aren't very healthy. Because you see, the nut jobs, the conspiracy theorists, the neo-Nazis, like all the people that are saying blatantly outrageous stuff, they're the ones that are going to be the platform from social media. They're the ones that are going to be the platform from any public discourse. And what's left is going to be very well-mannered, well-spoken, well-educated, calm, rational people. Meanwhile, the left doesn't have a version of political correctness attacking and making sure that the crazies from their side gets outed. And because of that, you are going to end up with very emotional speakers, with very violent people in their behavior, in their demeanor. And I want to show you this taking place. I want to show you this in real time. We're going to look at two different clips. One from a far left speaker and one from a right wing speaker, and these are taking place within the exact same area under the span of 24 hours.
We are here to create. Yeah. Keep going. We are creating this movement every day because every day of inaction drives more action from us.
When Che Guevara and Fidel Castro were storming to Havana on their communist revolution in Cuba, they would stop at little peasant towns, and they would steal animals from the local landowners. And they'd go to the peasant people in the towns and they'd say, they have these animals, these evil, rich people with land and money that you don't have, you deserve that. And if you give us power, this is what it's going to be like. We're going to take these animals and we're going to give them to you because you deserve them. Flash forward to the 21st century in America. We have my generation and hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt per person, paying $700, $800, $1,000 a month in student loans. Politicians are training my generation to accept the idea of wealth redistribution by saying, you have a lot of debt. These evil rich people, the 1%, the millionaires and billionaires, as Bernie likes to say, they have all the money and we're going to give it to you because you deserve it. You just have to give us power. It really puts things into perspective.
As your position as master, it is your job to create a place of comfort and home for the students that live in. Stay quiet! For all to create an unsafe space here for all. Stay quiet! For all Silliman students. You understand that? As your position as master, it is your job to create a place of comfort and home for the students that live in Silliman. You have not done that. By sending out that email, that goes against your position as master. Do you understand that? Then
no, I don't agree with that.
Then why the fuck did you accept the position?
Because
Who the fuck hired you?
I have a different
You
vision
should
than you.
step down. If that is what you think about being a master, you should step down. It is not about creating an intellectual space. It is not. Do you understand that? It's about creating a home here.
Now, I found these clips on a Facebook page called Young Americans Against Socialism. And I don't know anything about them, but by the title, they seem to be quite hate speech, don't they? What I really find interesting is, and I want people to get this, right? Like, to actually get the message I'm trying to convey here. I'm not saying that there aren't calm and logical people having conversations on the left, because there are several of them. But at the same time, I don't know of any person that's prominent on the right that is acting like this lady was acting, with her demeanor, with the screaming, with the over-the-top body language. I mean, maybe it's Alex Jones. You know, like maybe you could say that Alex Jones gets a little bit too emotional, but think about this. All the speakers on the right are very calm, educated, well-mannered, and, you know, they try to have a logical conversation about the things that happen. And this makes the right look good. It actually makes the right look more educated, look that it is trying to appeal to people's intelligence rather than their emotions. And I think this is political correctness, because I am definitely sure that there might be people on the right behaving exactly like this climate change lady, you know, that are screaming and shouting and they're very angry. I'm 100% sure that these people exist, but political correctness makes it impossible for them to get a platform, impossible for them to survive in any sort of public environment. And this is why we don't get to see these people. So all in all, the only good thing that is coming out of political correction, if you get my drift, is the fact that they are handing all the optics towards the right. And I guess, you know, as a right-winger myself, I should be thankful for it. You know, they definitely chiseled me into a well-mannered, well-spoken person. Now, I wish I were having the links to these two ladies. I would like to see both of their debates. Because I think they're very interesting. Unfortunately, I couldn't find them on this Facebook page. I'm really interested to hearing what these climate activist people have to say, and you know, what the lady had to say about communism. When it comes to climate change activism, I generally don't get it. Like, maybe in America it might be a thing, but in my country there was climate activism protests. You know, and I'm thinking, like, Romania doesn't have an industry. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you know, you would wish Romania was polluting so you people have jobs. Instead, you have high unemployment rate, and then you have to go into polluting countries like Germany or Spain and try to find a job there. But in the case of America, I mean, yeah, maybe, you know, America is polluting, but why didn't Greta decide to pay a visit to China? Why did she try to pay a visit to India, you know, where there's actual problems and there's pollution higher than the one the United States is doing? You know, kind of makes you think. And also, what I don't get about the protests against climate, like, are you protesting the climate? Like, are you actually asking the Mother Earth, like Mother Gaia, to change her stances on the climate? Like, you protest a party, you know, like, you can protest a specific thing, but, you know, I watched some of these clips, and in my country at least, most of these people were like, oh, our leader should pollute less, our leader should do this and that, but they don't really say, like, okay, this is a problem. Like, for example, in my country, I would say Sweden and Austrian companies have bought Romanian forests and are not respecting the contract that they have signed and are now chopping down trees en masse. Okay, like, this is a problem. It causes landslides, it causes air recycling to have an issue. Right, so like this would be a thing that you can actually protest. You point out, like, this is the problem, this is how we want to change it. Not some vague, ambiguous stuff. It's like, oh, we would rather be in school than be out here. No, fucker, like, I have been in school, alright? Like, I have been a high schooler. I didn't need a reason to skip class. Like, I generally did. You didn't have to have Captain Planet get me out of school. I hated school. Everyone hated school. Right? So every time someone had the reason to go out of school, they would have definitely took it. But anyway, right, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, where I finally will release my video about Trudeau, where the blackface in chief has decided to do a Magneto not once, not twice, but apparently 3 times. And he is unsure if there are more pictures out there. Like, you can't make these things up.